jellies, Laguna Beach lifeguard Chief Jason Young said. From the color, experts determined the animals could be the rare black jellies or the black sea nettles. Black jellies were first named in 1997, but pictures of the massive elusive creatures have appeared as early as 1926, according to the Monterey Bay Aquarium Animal Guide. Black sea nettles can be 3 feet in diameter and the tentacles can be 25 feet long. Although the stings may not be as painful, they are not. Although the stings may be painful, they are not harmful to humans. It feels like a bee sting, and some people who have an allergic reaction, but the stings are usually not dangerous. If stung, Arias recommends beachgoers use vinegar or anything with high acidity to counteract the venom produced by the jelly's tentacles. He said the old wives' tale that using urine to combat a sting is true, but not necessary. I'd rather deal with a little irritation. Well, I will exclude this from the comment. Much about the species' behavior and life cycle remains a mystery since its whereabouts during most years are unknown. We're seeing a lot of fish kills and a lot of animals wash up on the California coast. I think some of it may be attributed to man's influence of the ocean, such as the Fukushima incident in Japan, although that is my opinion and is not backed up by scientific fact. It's just a fact that around the globe there are reports that the corals are dying, that there are major fish kills, especially on the west coast, and also what's happening in the Gulf of Mexico with all of these animals that we traditionally think of as shrimp and crab and things of that nature are showing up with transparent shells, and they're also, I believe, reacting towards the possibility of it being influenced due to the oil spill in the Gulf a few years ago. And the black hole that appeared in the Gulf a few years ago has grown tremendously of an oxygen deficit zone that has produced a lot of fish kills and a lot of animal kills. So moving on, this is part of the food chain, and moving on, we don't know what this is going to do, but everything affects everything else. This earth is in perfect equilibrium, or it was, and now all of a sudden it seems like it's out of kilter, so we'll find out later why. This story is coming from CNN Opinion. It says why the Arabs don't like the United States, and it says that the battering of the U.S. image is taken in Egypt these days reflects the sources of anger against America and the Middle East run deep. We're not the primary reason the Middle East is so screwed up. The Arabs themselves need to own up to that. Just take a look at Syria and Egypt. But we are still a big part of the story. Some extremist Muslims hammer us because they don't like Western values. Others see the conspiratorial hand of America everywhere, sucking the life out of the Arab and Muslim independence, pride, and dignity. But once you get around from the fringes, what you find is equally disturbing. Millions of Arabs and Muslims don't like us, not because of who we are, but because of what we do. It is our policies. And since those are unlikely to change anytime soon, there's a pretty good chance America will continue to lose the public image battle in the Middle East. And that concludes our news portion of the show for today. Moving into how this all fits into the grand scheme of things, you have to look at what is told in the Bible, and there's a lot of prophecy given in the Bible. The Bible is like 1/3 to 1/4, or 1/4 to 1/3 prophecy. And the prophets of the Bible were held to such a strict standard that if what they said did not come to pass, they were put to death. However, we continue to see things unfold in the Middle East, and we continue to relate it back to what the written word says about these things. And these things in itself, you can look at them on the surface, and you can give it a broad brush look at it, and you could say, well, things like this have always happened. You know, things continue just as though they always have before. And that's where the danger comes in. We've been lulled into a sense of normality for accepting these things for what they are. But you have to look at it with a more narrow brush now and say, have we seen as much of it at one time and in a short span as we have seen in the past? And when you start to look at it from that point of view, you definitely can see that there is something going on in the world. And the world itself will deny this thing strongly because the world systems do not want to be threatened. They don't want their economic systems to be affected by anything that's negative, and they definitely don't want their economic systems to cease to exist as they currently are. So, you know, you can think of every kind of ism there is in the world, and every system that man has devised has failed. No matter how complex or how simple, eventually it will fail. It is a scientific axiom that is known to widely throughout the world. Um, and we have the communism, we have the capitalism, we have the socialism, we have you know, other isms out there that are all doomed to fail at some point or another. And things go from a state of order to a state of disorder. And we're looking right now at the end of days. And we're looking at it because when Israel became a nation back in 1948, in one day, that completed a major prophecy in the Holy Bible, as foretold thousands of years ago. Since then, it has been the focal point of a lot of action and a lot of travail in the world over one little strip of land that is no bigger than the state of New Jersey, and it comprises less than 1% of all the lands in the Arab lands, but yet it is a source of irritation that encompasses the whole world. And biblical prophecy fits into today's things because with the air crash comes confusion. With the mudslides comes the you know, changes in climate and nature and pestilences like wildfires that can't be put out. And also we look at things, you know, like with marine life dying, and the ocean is being affected, and whether or not the Fukushima plant can be you know, pinpointed or not as the cause of some of this. Man has been dumping things into the ocean since I don't know when. I mean, in the 70s, they were dumping radioactive material encased in concrete out into the oceans in steel drums. And you know what steel drums will do underwater with the corrosive salt water? I mean, it's just a matter of time before that stuff is exposed. And I know for a fact that concrete itself will dissolve eventually when exposed to water continuously. Now you got to ask yourself this: are you ready for a new change in the way things exist in this world order? The politicians keep calling for a new world order, and all the world is plugged into one world government. I mean, a one world order right now of one economy affects the other economy, and it's a domino effect. But you know, God has His own timetable, and God has His own clock, and He has His own new world order, and His new world order is to have a one world leader, but that leader will not be the one that will precede him, which will be the Antichrist that will try to immediately seek to come up with a solution to these problems and will immediately be welcomed by the international community and will immediately be established as the one world leader. And this person he will make Hitler look like a Sunday school teacher. I mean, he will be a very, very peaceful man. He will be thought of as a man of peace, and he will bring it in, but then he will be shot, and his head will be wounded, and then he'll come back to life and be healed, and then he will become Satan incarnate on earth, and he will bring earth almost to the brink of total destruction. But there is a way to avoid this, and that is to give your life over to Jesus Christ, who is the Lord and who is the Son of the living God, who predicted these things 2,000 years ago. Excuse me. And he says that he has predestined things, and he knows the end from the beginning, and he knows that these things are going to happen. And in Matthew 24:22 of the New King James Version, he says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then shall two be in the field, one shall be taken and the other left." And it's talking about the rapture there. It's talking about who is going to escape this end time slaughter that's going to take place on the earth. It's going to be a purging. It's going to be something to where they're going to make you take a mark, and they're going to make you take a mark or a chip or something. It's going to be in your forehead or in your wrist or your arm, and it's going to prevent you from buying or selling if you don't have it. If you don't have it and you don't worship their leader, their world system, the Antichrist. So you've got a choice here. You come into a fork in the road, and you're going to have to make an eternal decision. If you take the mark, there's no chance that you'll ever receive eternal salvation, and that you will go off into a oblivion, into a devil's hell forever and ever, excommunicated from God's presence. Or you can choose the right direction and choose God's Son and not take the mark and go the way God would have you to go, and you will receive a crown of eternal life. And you will not go to hell, and you will not go to eternal punishment. The choice is yours, my friend. I mean, I'm not here to proselytize you. I'm here to just advise you. And I'm just a mailman delivering a message. And it's left up to you. You have the mind and you have the heart to accept what I'm saying to you as being true or not. These are not my words. I'm just repeating words that were put in the Holy Bible, and I'm just bringing them to life. It is not my intent to try to impose my religion on anyone. It's left up to you. And if you're drawn to make a decision today, it is the Holy Spirit that is prodding you to do so. So I advise you to please listen to that little small voice inside your heart or head that's telling you the time is now, for the days are becoming short, and it will become reality soon. And it says that it will become a snare that will fall on the entire earth, and it will enslave everyone, both rich and poor, both servant and bond, meaning slaves. I mean, it will enslave everyone. And at that time, I mean, if you don't receive the mark after it's too late, and the Antichrist has ascended into power, then you will be beheaded. If you do accept Christ at that point, you will become a martyr. That's not to say that you won't be saved, but you will encounter that situation. Your friends or your neighbors will turn you in. They will think that they're doing God a service by doing so. And if you do accept the mark, of course, it's eternal damnation. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That's just the way it is. And I'm sorry if it steps on someone's toes or not, but I mean, that's